My delegation welcomes the Special Rapporteur and thanks him for presenting his report. We concur that difficulties in upholding the right to drinking water are not the result of technical or resource constraints, but a consequence of inequalities within and across countries. Yet another factor is the instrumentalization of water flows in transboundary rivers for geopolitical motives. In our region, the decision by an upper riparian state to obstruct flows of water in contravention of the Indus Waters Treaty of 1960 threatens to have dire consequences for people living downstream in Pakistan. In addition to their rights to water and sanitation, the rights of people in Pakistan to food and environment, among others, are also directly threatened. At a time when climate change-induced floods are wreaking havoc, agreements that ensure predictable water flows and exchange of hydrological data are ever more important. States cannot abdicate their responsibility under customary international norms of transboundary water use, such as the duty to coordinate, avoid significant harm, and peacefully settle differences. Mr. Special Rapporteur, Pakistan sees merit in your call for regional cooperation for climate change adaptation. It is equally important to emphasize the need for faithful implementation of transboundary water cooperation agreements. International cooperation should continue to govern the management of shared water resources. We would welcome your insights on human rights responses to ensure these guardrails are not breached.
We are compelled to express our deep concern over the persistent and deliberate attempts by a particular delegation to politicize the proceedings of this Council. Such actions not only undermine the integrity of this platform, but also seek to deflect attention from other core issues. The Indus Water Treaty, signed in 1960, was concluded in a spirit of goodwill and friendship, but the world of 1960 is not the world of today. The grim reality of relentless state-sponsored cross-border terrorism emanating from Pakistan fundamentally erodes the environment required for honoring treaty obligations. Mr. Vice President, the escalating impact of climate change, advancements in technology, and the growing imperative for sustainable clean energy compel a serious re-evaluation of the treaty's relevance and applicability in today's context. Mr. Vice President, a party that consistently and willfully violates the core tenets of a treaty should not accuse others of non-compliance. The Council must not allow itself to be used as a platform for diversion and distortion. It must instead recognize that lasting cooperation is rooted in trust, not terror.